What if the most dangerous villains in fiction sat at the same table? Not to fight, but to judge each other. Who gets laughed out of the room? Who commands absolute fear? And who doesn't even need to speak to dominate the entire council? Today, we're ranking 15 of the most iconic villains ever, from the weakest minds in the room to the ones who would control it. And stay tuned for a bonus where we will introduce a mystery villain who designs the downfall of the entire council before the meeting even begins. Let's get started. 15. Joffrey Baratheon, the illusion of power. Joffrey represents the weakest kind of villain, one who inherits power but doesn't understand it. He confuses fear with respect and cruelty with strength. In a council full of predators, Joffrey isn't feared, he's identified. And once villains identify weakness, they exploit it instantly. He'd be manipulated within minutes and likely eliminated without resistance. Why he ranks last? He has authority, but no control, no discipline, and no survival instinct. 14. Harley Quinn, chaos without direction. Harley is dangerous in bursts, but inconsistent. She thrives in unpredictability, which makes her deadly in one-on-one encounters. But in a council setting, unpredictability becomes a liability. Villains like Gus Fring or Hannibal Lecter don't react to chaos. They absorb it, then counter it. Why she ranks low? She's reactive, not strategic. Entertaining, but not dominant. 13. Homelander, power without stability. Homelander might be the most physically powerful in the room, but psychologically, he's one of the weakest. He needs validation, approval, love. And in a room full of manipulators, that's a death sentence. Someone like Joker would provoke him. Why he ranks here? He can destroy anyone physically, but can't protect himself mentally. 12. Ghostface, fear with no identity. Ghostface thrives on anonymity, but that's also the problem. In a room of dominant personalities, Ghostface lacks a core identity. They're not a force, they're a role, and roles can be replaced. Why they rank low? They create fear, but don't control outcomes. 11. Bane, the false revolutionary. Bane feels like a top-tier villain until you realize something critical. He wasn't the mastermind. He was executing someone else's plan. In a council of strategists, that immediately lowers his rank. Why he lands here? Strong, intelligent, but ultimately a lieutenant, not a ruler. 10. Anton Chigurh, the weaponized philosophy. Chigurh isn't chaotic, he's inevitable. His coin toss philosophy removes emotion, making him terrifyingly consistent. But here's the issue. He doesn't adapt. And higher-ranked villains? They evolve mid-conflict. Why he ranks number 10? Unstoppable in his lane, but limited outside it. 9. Michael Myers, pure evil with no voice. Michael is the embodiment of fear, but fear alone doesn't win councils. Influence does. He doesn't speak, doesn't negotiate, doesn't strategize, which means others can plan around him. Why he's here? He's unstoppable, but not controlling. 8. Walter White, the ego that destroys itself. Walter is brilliant, calculated, ruthless, but his greatest strength, his intelligence, is overshadowed by his ego. He needs to be recognized as the smartest in the room, and villains like Palpatine or Hannibal, they'd weaponize that need. Why he's number 8? He rises fast, but self-destructs faster. 7. Hannibal Lecter, the invisible predator. Hannibal doesn't dominate physically. He dominates mentally. He observes, waits, dissects personalities. By the time others realize they're being manipulated, they're already compromised. Why he ranks high? He doesn't need power. He controls those who have it. 6. Darth Vader, fear made flesh. Vader commands instant authority. His presence alone changes behavior. But here's the flaw. He's not independent. He serves a higher power, and in this council, servants don't sit at the top. Why number 6? Incredible force, but ultimately a weapon. 5. The Joker, the uncontrollable variable. Joker is the most dangerous wild card in the room. He doesn't want control, he wants collapse, which makes him nearly impossible to predict, but also impossible to build with. Why he's number 5? He can destroy any system, but can't rule one. 4. Gustavo Fring, power in silence. Gus is what most villains pretend to be: calm, calculated, invisible. He builds systems so efficient that his enemies don't even realize they've lost until it's over. Why he's top tier? He controls outcomes without revealing intention. 3. Lord Voldemort, the architect of fear. Voldemort doesn't just kill, he controls ecosystems. He builds loyalty through fear and power. But his fatal flaw? He underestimates others. And in this room, that's lethal. Why number 3? Massive power and influence with a critical blind spot. 2. Thanos, the justified destroyer. Thanos is terrifying because he believes he's right. He has strength, intelligence, and conviction, but his ideology is rigid, and rigidity can be exploited. Why number 2? Nearly unstoppable, but not adaptable. 1. Emperor Palpatine, the invisible hand. Palpatine doesn't fight for control. He creates it. He manipulates entire systems, turning heroes into villains and allies into enemies. And the scariest part? You don't realize he's won until it's too late. Why he's number 1? He doesn't overpower opponents. He redefines the game. So there is the ultimate council of evil. 15 of the most iconic characters together in one room. But wait, there's someone else. As promised, who would secretly destroy the entire council? The answer? Dr. Doom. Because while everyone fights for dominance, Doom would already be 10 moves ahead with a plan to eliminate everyone. And here is how it would go down. A single chair sits empty, not at the head of the table, but slightly behind it. Doors slam shut one by one. First to speak is Emperor Palpatine. His voice cuts through the room like a blade. At last, the galaxy's most gifted minds assembled. A slow chuckle echoes. From the darkness, the Joker leans forward, grinning. Oh, I like this already. Who's in charge? Or is that the joke? A red blur lands at the table, Homelander smiling, but his eyes flicker. Let's not pretend. If anyone's leading, it's me. A chair scrapes. Walter White adjusts his glasses. You're not in control. You're a product. There's a difference. The temperature drops. A mechanical breath fills the room. Darth Vader doesn't sit. He looms. You are all insignificant. Tension spikes. No one notices. The empty chair is no longer empty. A calm voice, measured, cold. Fascinating. All heads turn. Dr. Doom sits silently, armored hands folded. No entrance, no announcement. He was simply there. The game begins. Doom tilts his head slightly. Tell me, which of you believes you belong here? Homelander smirks. I don't believe it. I know it. Doom doesn't even look at him. And yet, you crave their approval. Homelander's smile twitches. Joker laughs. Oh, I like him. He sees the cracks. Doom's gaze shifts. You mistake chaos for freedom. It is merely lack of control. Joker's grin falters, just slightly. Palpatine leans forward. You speak boldly for someone with no allies. Doom's voice doesn't rise. On the contrary, I have all of them. Walter White stands. This is pointless. We're not equals here. Some of us are thinkers, others are just... Then Homelander grabs him by the throat. Say that again. Walter gasps, and no one moves to help him. Doom watches, not surprised, not concerned. Predictable, he says. Chaos ignites. Joker claps slowly. And here we go. He whispers something to Homelander. We don't hear it, but Homelander's grip tightens. Across the table, Thanos finally speaks. This is disorder, inefficient. There must be balance. Doom nods slightly. And yet, you require suffering to achieve it. A flawed equation. Control collapses. The room fractures. Vader steps forward, force crackling. Homelander snaps, rage boiling over. Joker laughs louder, fueling the chaos. Walter collapses, gasping, broken. And through it all, Doom doesn't move. Palpatine rises. Lightning flickers in his hands. Enough. The room freezes. You will all kneel, or you will die. Doom finally stands, slowly, deliberately. No. The lights flicker, then stabilize, and something feels wrong. Doom steps forward. You believe this meeting was your idea. He looks at Palpatine. It was not. He turns to Thanos. You believe you seek balance. To Homelander, you believe you deserve worship. To Joker, you believe nothing matters. Doom's voice drops. I allowed you to believe these things because they make you predictable. The fall begins. Homelander lunges. A pulse of energy drops him midair. Vader reaches out. His grip fails. Joker laughs, then stops, confused. Doom raises one hand. Technology and sorcery. You never stood a chance. Only two remain standing. Doom and Palpatine. Palpatine smiles. You've done well, but you underestimate the dark side. Doom steps closer. No. I studied it. Palpatine's expression changes. For the first time, he's unsure. Doom leans in, and I improved upon it. Palpatine sits with a new understanding. The room is still, bodies unmoving, power extinguished. Doom returns to his seat, the one that was never at the head, but now clearly is with the power of the Force, light and dark side at his fingertips. While they fought for control, Dr. Doom designed a world where control was never theirs to begin with. They all glare at Doom as power resonates from his very being. But here's the real question. Who would last the longest if an all-out fight ensued? And why? Tell us in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and let us know if you would like to see part 2 of Ultimate Council of Evil.